Hello everyone, welcome back to Waluigi Syndrome, and today I am going to be doing a review of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 The Black Order exclusively on Nintendo Switch. I've had a lot of video ideas, a lot of stuff going around, but my life's been a bit hectic. I can't talk right now, so I am just making this, and more content will come to you soon. I'll probably never have a consistent upload schedule, so my apologies. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into this review. I want to have some gameplay up so that you can see, the game. So I have this video pulled up by the Rad Brad. Apparently he's very popular. I've never heard of him till now. So thank you for letting me use your gameplay, my good sir. And make sure desktop audio needs to be off. So yeah, I'll go ahead and play this.
So guys, welcome to Marvel.
Alright. So, all in all, just so you guys know, I'm not 100% done, complete with this game. I am at chapter 4 right now. And I'm not going to spoil anything, by the way. This is a spoiler-free review, and the gameplay is only the first 50 minutes, which this review won't be that long. So, spoiler-free. Anyway, I played up till chapter 4. So there's 10 chapters in the game. So I'm about halfway, but I feel like I'm at a good point now where I can review the game and my score, or not necessarily score, but my verdict on the game will not change once I finish it. Normally, I like to finish my games completely before reviewing it, but I wanted to get this out sooner, and I don't think my thoughts are going to change. So anyway, what I ended up doing to get this game was I paid for Nintendo Switch vouchers and then got Mario Maker 2 and this game. So I effectively got it for $40. But anyway, I guess I should just start with the visuals. Visually, it's kind of a mixed bag. Some of the character models look really nice and crisp and clean, or I'm just like, wow, that looks great. Others are kind of, I don't know how to say it, just kind of eh. A lot of the gameplay and visuals combined with this game kind of makes it feel like it's from a PS2 game, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because the gameplay plays like a PS2 game because of the fact that it's a sequel to 2 games that were on the PS2. It's probably why I feel that way, but I'll get to that later. Anyway, I actually do like the visuals with this game, though, overall. That being said, a lot of people really do not excuse me, like the cartoon aspect of this game and prefer the more realistic take, I guess. But when Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 came out, people hated the gritty aspect. Personally, I think the cell shading and the more cartoonish look of the characters, a comic booky style, really suits them, and overall, I think the visuals look really great. Some areas and levels, I found the visuals to not really be amazing and just kind of be average. Playing through, they're just fine. Some areas are really cool and visually interesting. Some are just meh. I haven't seen any that I would consider to be bad, however. Before I get to the gameplay, I want to mention the first 2 Marvel Ultimate Alliance games were basically my childhood. They are the earliest games that I can think of playing, and I don't know exactly how old I was, but I played them with my father when I was very young on the PlayStation 2. I really don't remember anything about it. The only thing I remember is that there's one level in the first game where you have to fight Arcade, and I was doing so bad at it that my dad just had me pick Spider-Woman and just fly over the entire stage so I would be out of the way. But anyway, so just so you guys know, this review is I can't compare it to the first 2 because of how little memory I have. However, from what I remember, the gameplay feels the same. Not that I remember that much. One thing about the graphics I want to mention is that in handheld mode. So a lot of people have been complaining about in handheld mode there's really bad frame rate or something. Personally, I have experienced this, but it's so minimum that it doesn't bother me. What does bother me a bit is that in handheld mode, everything, but specifically the character models, become extremely low resolution. And it's very weird because a lot of other objects will be like high res, but then the characters will be like very pixely and jagged around the edges and kind of ugly. However, it's still not a game breaker, and it's not going to hinder your enjoyment of the game, in my opinion. The frame rate, it is in docked. It is a steady 30 frames per second. I have not noticed it drop while playing docked. I played most of the story in docked. I did a level in handheld mode, and I've done some Infinity Rifts in handheld mode. So I've played a fair amount both ways. In handheld mode, however, I do notice a frame drop, but only when I have 4 characters using their Ultimate Alliance Extreme attack, and when that happens, the frames dropped probably to like 20 frames per second is my estimation, 15 to 20. But there's so much going on the screen, and it's over so quick that I can't see it hindering my gameplay experience. I guess next I'll bring up the story. I haven't finished the game, obviously, so I'm not going to let this affect my review too much. However, the story, what I'll say without spoiling anything, is that it continues to get interesting. The beginning, like the first level of the story, honestly had me bored, and I felt kind of like disappointed because it felt like a rehash. The story does revolve around Thanos and the Infinity Stones, which has been touched on several times in the comic books, already in the MCU and in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So I don't want to say it's an overused storyline, but it is definitely a familiar one. However, as the game goes on, many, many more characters come out of the woodworks, and there are a lot of interesting shakeups that happen to make it so that the story becomes more interesting. And I have seen spoilers. I got spoiled due to the wonderful comment section of the internet on the final levels of the game, and I can definitely say that it gets crazy. On to gameplay. The best way I can describe it is fun but repetitive. A lot of the characters feel the same, like Spider-Man and Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen. Aside from a couple attacks that they have, they all feel functionally the same, which is to be expected, of course. A lot of times, one like minor complaint I have is I feel like enemies you have to hit them so much, and it takes so long. Like some boss battles take like 20 minutes because they're just such huge tanks, when I'm playing as like a character that can just blast them in the face. And obviously this is how the game works, so this is just a personal complaint, but I feel like maybe they could have made some of the bosses do more damage and have less health instead. The game does a pretty good job of easing you into the mechanics, except for the synergy attacks that I did not understand whatsoever and had to Google it. And now I think I have a pretty good understanding. But the game does not do a good job of teaching you the synergy attacks. I recommend Kotaku made an article of like tips to learn before you play, and that's one of the things in there. I recommend reading that article. It helped me a lot, and the game could have done a better job of presenting it. The game, in my opinion, has a lot of weird presentation choices or menu designs that don't really seem logical and kind of make it seem like it's from an older gen game, like a PS2 game. I don't know exactly how to say it, but the menu design, some parts of it are quite clunky, and I find it a bit tedious and annoying to sift through the menus and change out heroes at certain parts when I'm trying to do certain things. And some parts of the game, like the whole ISO wait thing, it's just a bit overwhelming for someone who's maybe not into menuing as much. I haven't had too much trouble with it, but I feel like the UI could have been a bit better. However, I did just finish Persona 5, which in my opinion has some of the best menu design you can find in games, so it's possible I'm being a bit too critical. The sounds in this game are very good. The music in the game is amazing. Sounds like it's straight out of the MCU. The voice acting is a bit of a hit or miss. Some characters take a bit of a unique take on it, which I like. Some characters sound like they're just trying to copy people from the Marvel Cinematic Universe or the movies, and sometimes it works in the case of Nebula, which sounds very authentic to the point where it may very well be the original voice actor. And then other times like Rocket Raccoon and Star-Lord, which just sound like dollar store knockoffs of the original voice actors, to the point where I wished they just got voice actors that took a unique take on it. However, I understand with the cinematic universe being so popular as it is now that it would be quite difficult to voice act a character who is well known for their part in the movies without impersonating them. So I don't hold it against them, and overall I think the voice cast does an amazing job. And they even got some people who have played the characters before, like Wolverine from the original Wolverine and Magneto, I believe, from the original X-Men cartoon. But back to the gameplay. The gameplay, like I said, it's enjoyable but tedious. There is a lot more strategy to it than I thought there would, and that I remember there being in the original games. However, that could be because I was so young, I just button mashed my way through, and my father did all the work. But I do feel like the stagger system is a bit complex and not totally explained very well. But basically, you need to do synergy attacks to get the purple stagger meter down, which will then stun your enemy and let you do major damage on the health in order to defeat him. I wouldn't say problem, but I guess problem I have with the game is in terms of the characters leveling up. Unlike the previous Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, characters level up individually on their own instead of all in a group, as you can see here in this gameplay. This is good and bad. It helps you get more things to do, because if you want to level up all the characters to 99, if you're a completionist like myself, then it definitely adds more time to the game. However, that time is artificial padding by grinding and not necessarily fun gameplay. It also causes problems when, for example, you're playing story mode and, hey, I haven't tried, for example, let's say I'm playing as Iron Man, Rocket Raccoon and Groot, Drax, and Spider-Man. So let's say I want to try out Hulk, because he's one of the earlier characters you unlock, and I hadn't tried him out this whole game. So if I'm level 20 and I just now decide to try out Hulk, he'll still be level 6, which means you're either going to need to hop into Infinity Rifts to grind him up, or use a bunch of XP cubes on him. Now, the story and Infinity Rifts do hand you a good amount of XP cubes that it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But for a game that's all about mixing and matching up your characters, it definitely feels like you're meant to stick with the same team throughout story mode and then replay the game with different characters, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. I ended up playing a lot of characters and enjoying a lot that I didn't think I would. I'm currently going through with Iron Fist, Wasp, Spider-Gwen, and Iron Man. And I have to say, Spider-Gwen and Iron Man especially, I really like them. And I think they're going to be my mains. So yeah, it's all about finding characters that you like. And the one good thing about it is when you unlock characters throughout the story, you unlock them at the level that they should be at. So if you unlock, say, Iron Fist while you are playing the 3rd chapter, and you're like, hey, I want him on my team, you don't have to worry about grinding, you can just swap them out. So yeah, that's pretty much the gameplay. It's button mashing with some strategy. However, a lot of the excitement from I do get excitement from taking out the huge bosses. I feel like there's a bit of imbalance in difficulty. I think Mighty is too difficult, at least for me. I'm not that skilled at this type. I haven't played one of these types of games since I played the originals. So, and Friendly, I'm finding to be a bit too easy. So I wish there was a middle ground. I know there is a harder difficulty you can unlock, but I wish that there was just an easy, normal, hard, and then like an extreme. One major disappointment I do have with the game is the alternate costumes. I really think that they should have labeled it as alternate colors or alt skins or something to make it seem like it wasn't a whole new costume, because I think that's what a lot of fans were expecting, when in the end what we get is recolors. So, for example, Spider-Man, they just recolor his costume into different colors that it looks like the spider armor, Mark 1, which is cool, admittedly, but a lot of characters have little to no difference in terms of their color change, or a color change, but it's not from anything. Like, there's no inspiration from it. Like, for example, take Venom. You know, one cool costume or alternate color we could have gotten would have been Anti-Venom. But instead, they decided for him to get an alternate color. But instead of picking anything interesting, it just ends up being him with a slighter shade of purple. I know that they said they're adding true alternate costumes as free DLC, but to me, this should have been just something that was in the game. I was a bit disappointed with the fact that there was DLC available before and planned before the game even came out, which I do not like in games. However, it's character and story DLC, and I feel like the game has 36 characters, which is a very plentiful amount. So I think that in this case, the DLC is okay. One misconception I just want to clear up is that people are assuming is that the DLC packs, there are 3 of them, which you cannot buy individually. You get one pass and you get all 3 packs. People are assuming it's 4 per pack, which is not true. They only revealed 4 from Marvel Knights at Comic-Con, but the direct words that they used was, these are a few of the characters in this pack, implying that there are more than 4. The current revealed fighters for DLC are Moon Knight, Punisher, Morbus, and Blade in the Marvel Knights pack. I'm really hoping we can see some more fan favorite characters. Characters I'm hoping for personally include Jessica Jones, X-23, Emma Frost, Juggernaut, Iceman, and just some more X-Men characters. Also, Doctor Doom with the Fantastic Four would be amazing. And hopefully Silver Surfer as well. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Basically, the verdict of this review turns down into if you're a Marvel fan or not. The game is pretty easy, decently easy to pick up and play, but also has some more strategies in it. So if you like beat-em-up games, button mashers, games where you have to clear out hordes of enemies, or if you like Marvel games and you're just a die-hard Marvel head like me, I used to be very into the comics. I've been out of the comics for about 2 years now, but I know pretty much all the characters. Not all of them, just I know my comics is what I'm saying. But anyway, if you're a Marvel head, or you just love Marvel, or even if you just got into Marvel from watching the movies and you think you might be interested in it, I would go for it. I think the game warrants its $60 price. The only thing that might happen, I'm trying to take breaks between playing it. I have a lot of games to play right now to the point where it's very overwhelming, actually. I wouldn't try to play this game all at once, as I think you'd probably get a bit sick of it because of how repetitive in nature it is. So I would say to take breaks between your play sessions and not play this game for 5 hours on end. From what I've heard, the story takes 10 to 15 hours, plus however much time you want to spend on Infinity Rifts, which can be used to unlock more costumes and characters afterward. And if I want 100% this game, so I'm probably going to grind all my characters up to level 99, so who knows how long that will take. I don't always, but sometimes I judge my games based on a dollar per hour sort of deal. But personally, with this, I think the base gameplay and the cutscenes are so fun that I would go ahead and support it and say that it is definitely worth $60. If you're a fan of Marvel and you buy this, I don't think you'll have any regrets. From what I can remember, it's very true to the originals, and I think if you're a Marvel fan, you will quite enjoy this game, especially if you like beat-em-ups. However, I've heard a lot of people saying beat-em-ups or button mashers like Diablo 3 are better than this, but the point is, if you like Marvel, I think you'll like this game. At least I did. I don't feel 100% comfortable giving it a review score, just because everyone gives different types of scores, and scores are all interpreted differently. But for the point that I'm at in the game, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7.5 out of 10. Which in my opinion is a very good score. So I don't want you guys to hear that and think, hey, that's not very good, because in my opinion, that's a good score. Anyway, that about wraps it up for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed. This review was not scripted, as you can probably tell by my frequent ums. I was debating doing a scripted review, but I feel like if I read off a piece of paper, I would just end up too robotic and not natural. And I just wanted to give you guys an honest, off the head, off the brain review. So let me know what you guys thought of this type of style, and hope you have a great day. My next video is going to be talking about the National Dex situation of Pokemon Sword and Shield. Anyway, that's all for today. I hope you all have an amazing day, and goodbye.